All right, we are back at it. We took the day off yesterday. I am apparently fighting off a touch of pneumonia. So I am medicated now. I'm in good shape. We took the day off, rested. I'm just working too much. I don't know, like burning the candle at both ends, all four ends, a lot. Like it's been a very, very busy 2025 so far. And I told myself I just got to get through this year. I really got to get through next year because the 30th anniversary is going to be nuts also. But I made it like 2 months before I went down for the count pretty good. But we're starting to feel a little bit better, moving in the right direction. I'll take things a little bit more seriously, hopefully, moving forward. But we're good. I got a banger of a video for you today. Because there's a lot that's been happening over the past couple days. It's crazy. Like we talked about the rumored reprints. So obviously I can give some confirmation now. There's been a lot of other channels that have already talked about it. Before we jump into things, this kind of blends in with today's video. So I haven't talked about this in a little while, but this is our Japanese store, KurosioShop.com. You guys already know about the English store fairly well if you've been following me for a while. So you can go to KurosioShop.com. We did decide to put pre-orders up for Heatwave Arena, and there's a reason behind this. There's actually two reasons behind this. So this price is ridiculous, $129.99. Don't buy it if unless you want like the box right away. This should definitely come down in price. Kind of similar to what we saw with Battle Partners, where Battle Partners started out really high, and then it still is high, but it dropped a little bit a couple weeks after release. I would expect the same thing to happen for Heatwave Arena, even with like the Garchomp leak getting put out there and everything. Like, there's a lot of excitement about this, and then I can't even imagine what Team Rocket is going to look like. It's going to be absolute nuts. But two reasons. Number one, which I will talk about right now, is that we were able to get box prices the same as case prices, basically. So we're getting shipped sealed cases, which we don't typically get because sealed cases are so difficult to come by over in Japan. So if you order a quantity of 12, you will be shipped a sealed case, and that's not something we can typically offer. So even though $130 is super expensive, it should be competitive as far as market price. If you can find it for cheaper, obviously buy from somewhere else that you trust. But we will get these the Monday after release, and then begin shipping immediately. So go to KurosioShop.com if you want these right away. $130, obviously very, very expensive, but if you are looking for a sealed case for your sealed collection or whatever, we are able to provide sealed cases. And then we restocked a bunch of booster boxes, a bunch of other stuff. So you can head over to KurosioShop.com. We've got amazing stuff on there, hopefully under market deals with everything. So we're continuing to grow that. And the other reason I will talk about later on in this video, but I want to talk about the reprints. There's some misinformation going out there, but I also want to talk about the super premium collection because there's been a lot of information out there about that, and I don't want to take away from what I need to say, because I need to say something first before I jump into the slideshow. It's always really cool, I guess, to be able to break news, but you want to make sure you have all relevant information before you break news. Like there's a lot of buzz. There is nothing special about having distribution. Like the only special thing about having distribution access is not the information that you get. It's the ability to buy products at wholesale and sell them to an end consumer. Like it's the ability to run your own store. Like that's great. And having distributors, having those connections, I guess it does give you a little bit of like inside information and first to the scene as far as knowledge goes. But for some reason, that's like a coveted thing. It shouldn't be a coveted thing. Like the important thing is you want the community to grow. You want everybody. So you want to make sure that the information that you're putting out there is accurate. It's very, very accurate. So a couple days ago, I talked about the reprints as far as like rumors go, but I had mentioned in the video that I wanted to do my due diligence before I give any sort of actual information regarding them, because there has not been a whole lot of clear information outside of, hey, we know that there's going to be some product coming. We know that there's going to be some reprints coming. Well, that's great, but what does that mean? What sets, what size are we looking at reprints? With the demand the way that it is right now, is it going to even touch the market? Like, how is this actually going to look? And that's the information I think that you guys deserve. That's the information that you want to hear. You want to know, hey, do I need to continue to scramble and look around, and or is it going to get better over the next few months? And that's what I want to be able to provide to you guys. So I hope you like the information. If you do, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. We will continue to put out all this product at MSRP. So I will try and keep you guys updated with drops and things like that. Just hit that subscribe button, join our Discord. Like it goes a long way. This is the super premium collection right here. And this comes out on May 16th. This recently got dropped as far as the information goes, and there's a lot of panic, understandably so, because this is not an ultra premium collection, so it's not as expensive as like the Terapagos, the Charizard UPC, the Celebrations UPC, the 151 UPC. Those are more expensive because those are ultra premium collections. This is super premium collection. So this is, I think there's only been like one super premium collection that we've had in the past. I think maybe that was with Hidden Fates. I can't remember off the top of my head. But because of that, the MSRP on this is $89.99. What is MSRP anymore? I feel like nobody even knows. Nobody even knows what MSRP is anymore because it just keeps getting pumped up to different levels, which gets really frustrating because you don't know what price to look for and what price as a store owner, if you're trying to sell at MSRP for your customers to put prices at. MSRP for this one is $89.99. So if you're looking at GameStop or you're looking at Best Buy or you're looking at Walmart, $89.99 is your target price point to make sure you don't pay more than. You get 15 Prismatic Evolutions booster packs inside, so that's a decent amount, 15 of them for $89.99. And then you get the Fruits Basket. I call it Fruits Basket because I just like the anime. 15 Fruit Dessert Eevee promo. So this is the special illustration rare that you saw in Terrestrial Festival in Japan. It's the other Eevee EX that wasn't in our Prismatic Evolutions actual set. It was released as a promo over here in the States, and that will be included in the Super Premium Collection. You get a cool playmat, which you can kind of see on the outside of the image right here. Then you get a fuzzy Eevee deck box, which is kind of neat. It's a little bit different of an item. It reminds me kind of the accessory pouch, like that product that we're going to be getting in a little while. You get 65 card sleeves, and then you get a code card for PTCG Live. So there's a lot of questions about allocation numbers. I don't have my allocation numbers. I have no idea how many I'm going to be getting. But I do think what was more important to me as far as knowledge goes, because I'm never going to get what I want to get because there's so many accounts. There's so many accounts, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but triple the amount compared to the Terapagos UPC, so it's not nothing. That was verbatim what was communicated to me from distribution. So distribution said to me, we are getting, as distributors, now keep in mind, there's a lot of different distributors in the United States, a lot of different distributors that work with LGSs, brick and mortar, online game stores, places like that, and they are getting 3 times the amount as the Terapagos. So if you went to Target, Best Buy, right around Black Friday, maybe a little bit before Black Friday, and you saw Terapagos UPCs, 3 times that amount is getting printed or at least delivered to distributors that are going to then be able to provide those to brick and mortar stores. So I don't have my allocation numbers to know what it looks like in comparison to 151 UPCs. I'm assuming it's going to be less because there are so many more accounts that are out there right now, but I can tell you that distribution is getting more than what they even had, like by 3 times the amount. So there is going to be supply out there. Now, however, that doesn't necessarily mean much because if you look at where we are right now as a community, the demand is so high and so exuberant. There's so many people who want this product that I don't think you can print enough of these, but I don't want to see a bunch of rumors going around about this being short printed because it is going to be printed way more than what we saw for like the last ultra premium collection that came out. It is just not printed enough for the demand. That's going to be the issue right now, is because there's going to be so many people who want it for a variety of reasons. A lot of great people who want it for their sealed collection or to crack it open because they want the guts that are inside it. And then unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people who want it because it's going to be worth more. It's $89.99, and some people are probably seeing it and they're like, this is a $300 box upon release. I'm buying as many of these as I can. I'm using bots. I'm buying them out. I'm selling them for $300, and I'm going to 3 times my money opening weekend. And that's the unfortunate side of things, because we have hit that point in Pokemon right now where they can't print enough. So even though they're printing 3 times the amount of what we saw for the Terapagos, it's just not, unfortunately, going to be enough. At least in my opinion. I could be wrong. You can let me know in the comment section down below. Like, if they're doing 3 times the amount of Terapagos, hey, Fanny and B, it's going to be out there. I don't think that's going to be the case, but we'll see. But it looks like there's going to be at least a large amount of supply. All right, so let's break into the actual reprint information that's been going around. There are going to be reprints. It impacts 3 booster boxes. There are 3 booster boxes that are going to get reprinted. So Palea Evolved is the first one that we're going to talk about right here. You can see, obviously, gone up a lot, with the majority of that damage happening in November. It's just a broken record at this point, because in November, right after Surging Sparks came out and the demand for Pokemon cards just flew through the roof, obviously, all these booster boxes, all the sealed product, all of the singles, like everything just started taking off. So in March of 2024, this was at 105. It actually did get reprinted right around October, and it was a decent size reprint of Paldean Evolved. So it is a little surprising that they are reprinting it again, because of its age. First of all, it is an older set, so we're nearing 2 years for Paldean Evolved, which is crazy to think about. However, rotation, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, because rotation plays a big stronghold on a lot of the market. Rotation for the competitive Pokemon trading card game hits next month. So it hits in April, like 11th, for the actual physical card game. And Paldean Evolved is not going anywhere. So Scarlet and Violet base, all of those sets, starting with Scarlet and Violet base, those are going to continue to be needed for competitive play for quite some time. So when you see a price point of Paldean Evolved approaching 220, 225, accessibility for the competitive players gets a little bit more difficult. So it's not as surprising to see Paldean Evolved get a reprint despite its age. We saw something similar happen with sets like Roaring Skies. Even Roaring Skies got reprinted as it was phasing out to make things a little bit easier, because it was getting to a price point where it was getting more expensive. Not anywhere near what we're seeing right now. Like, it was closing in on MSRP, I guess, at that time. So it was a little weird, but Paldean Evolved not too weird. As you can see right now, it's at 223.15, which is just off of its year high of 223.72. You can see, obviously, bought out a lot right around that Black Friday deal. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday, TCG Player, and all these extra deals going on where you got a certain amount of cash back or store credit, and because of that, everything on TCG Player was just selling like crazy. So Paldean Evolved is getting reprinted. Twilight Masquerade, another set that is going to get reprinted. So we are getting booster box reprints of this in June of 2024 is when it was at its year low, or it's 101.54. So it's a decent low point. So if you were in the hobby around then, you could buy a booster box of Twilight Masquerade for about $101. Look at the weird, I'm not going to call it manipulation. This is just when the set released. It was just crazy. The set just blew up because everybody was hunting that Greninja. Everybody wanted the Greninja inside. There was a lot of noise, a lot of buzz, and this kind of started people getting back into the hobby because they were like, holy buckets, there's a card that's worth a couple $100 in Pokemon. Like, that never happens anymore because Scarlet and Violet base came out and all of a sudden cards became a little bit easier to pull, and you'd have these big giant chase cards, but everybody was chasing the Greninja, and because of that, booster boxes sailed the first few weeks of release. You can see at one point we're selling 1,400 boxes for a week of Twilight Masquerade, but the supply was there because we didn't have this crazy demand like what we have right now in Pokemon. So it jumped up a little bit. We had a small restock at the end of November. It was very, very small for Twilight Masquerade, and then it shot up and it hit $230 recently. It's sitting at $224.17 right now, up about 68.5%. So this one is getting reprinted. Twilight Masquerade, you can count on that one. And then we've got Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks also getting reprinted. Obviously, we just had that one release in November, and then a restock that happened a few weeks after release, which was a little bit smaller and not impactful for all stores. Only a certain amount of stores were able to get access to the restock that happened in November of 2024 when it released. It was selling like crazy because people were chasing that Pikachu. They were chasing that Latias. There's a lot of cards inside. And Surging Sparks still holding its value extremely well. And that's really when the hype returned for Pokemon. People started getting really nuts with it. Again, it did jump up to $265.98. So all three of these have taken a little step backwards, but not much. Like, you're talking about, even with reprint news going on, like, these have only dropped a few dollars. Like, they haven't gone down too much. Like, obviously, Paldean Evolved still, what is that, 60 cents? 58 cents, 57 cents off of its one-year high, all-time high. Twilight Masquerade is less than $6 off of its one-year high, and Surging Sparks, $3 off of its one-year high. So these are all still, like, even with reprint news, like, this isn't scaring anybody right now, and I don't think it will. And then we are going to get reprints of Journey Together. I have no idea when the Journey Together reprint is going to come out, but there's going to be an additional print run of Journey Together after the release. You can see right now, I think people still kind of just biding their time, not knowing what to do, and I think a lot of storefronts have not even put up orders for Journey Together, so that's why you want to be very careful with Journey Together. Don't buy above MSRP. MSRP on this one is like 161 or whatever the new MSRP is. But in February, when pre-orders really just started, it was already already above MSRP at 184.07. It is important to remember that every single booster box is going to come with the promo card if you're in the States. That box topper illustration rare. It's different overseas, and that's what has me a little bit nervous. So we have been communicated that a reprint is likely for Journey Together, but we have not been communicated to us if it's going to be this exclusive booster box, which includes the box topper promo, or if reprints will not. And that is really the big kicker that I want to know the answer to, is will future print runs of Journey Together have the box topper promo or not? Because if it does, then you're kind of safe opening up your product, doing whatever you want. If it doesn't, then a lot of people are going to want to keep the first print run sealed. You're going to be able to differentiate between the first print run and additional print runs, because one of them will be exclusive and one of them will not be exclusive. And that promo card, like, it's gonna cause issues. It's gonna cause issues like what we've seen with the Elite Trainer boxes from Pokemon Center, like the stamp promos. Like, it's going to be very interesting. So right now we're at 216.38 for this for pre-orders. I would attend a pre-release. Pre-releases should start in a couple weeks here. It comes out. Pre-releases start 2 weeks before a set releases. I think a lot of stores are kind of biding their time, waiting to see if they get more allocated to them or what this reprint looks like, because we don't know when this is going to hit or how much more they're going to put out there. But you can juggle your price point a little bit depending on A, what distribution is charging you, and B, if it's a waived release schedule, like what we've done in the past with sets like Vivid Voltage, where they kind of broke it up into waived releases. That helps a lot understand, okay, well, I can service this amount of customers here, but then 2 weeks later I can service this amount of customers, which is going to be good. And some people who are okay waiting a couple weeks just because they want one for their sealed collection, they're not going to care. So Journey Together is the other one that's getting reprinted. And then we got booster bundles of Paldean Fates. Again, not sure exactly what this looks like. There's a lot of confusion about Paldean Fates being reprinted. It's not Elite Trainer boxes. It's not any special collection boxes or anything like that. It's just booster bundles. In September of 2024, this is at $25.11. Then the Bubble Mew exploded, and Surging Sparks exploded, and everything exploded, and it jumped up to $61.35. So it's very close to that right now still. Dropped about 10% over the last couple weeks. Still up about 125% over the year. Selling at $56.83 right now. This one is not reprinting. And there's a lot of confusion about this because this originally was communicated from Pokemon 2 distribution that this was reprinted, but there was an issue with inventory as far as there was an error. And Obsidian Flames not included in these reprints. At least this is the information that was communicated to me as of like yesterday. So Obsidian Flames originally communicated as reprinting when they had their giant conference and everything, but it doesn't look like it actually is. So if you were like panic selling your Obsidian Flames, trying, I don't know, like it's just not going. It's not getting reprinted right now. And that's not to say that it won't. I do believe we're going to get larger reprints down the road. But as far as this initial booster box reprint goes, it doesn't look like Obsidian Flames is a part of it. This was $99.96. It's close to MSRP. It's a little bit above MSRP. You do MSRP plus shipping, plus tax, you're probably at like $189-ish. Close to that, 180 with shipping, probably closer to like 170. It's close. It's just not good. At least it hasn't hit $200 yet. 192.51 was its high point, which it hit about a week ago. It's sitting at 189.53 right now. So Obsidian Flames not getting reprinted, and that's very important to notice. This is kind of where we're at right now. So inventory error when it comes to Obsidian Flames booster boxes. The reprint booster boxes quantities aren't very substantial, and this is important. We wouldn't have enough to send all of our customers one case each. This is a big deal for a multitude of reasons. So this doesn't give us enough information. This is just what was communicated to me. Now, distribution right now has more customers than they've ever had before because everybody and their brother apparently has a distributor. It doesn't matter if you're a YouTube channel, a brick and mortar store, a online card store, like everybody can get distribution at that point. Understandable because honestly, distribution ran into an issue where they got overloaded with Pokemon products, overloaded with card products, and they needed to be able to source them. They needed to be able to get rid of them because they had so much money invested and spent on Pokemon cards. So they're like, okay, we got to take in more accounts. We shut down accepting accounts for a couple of years because of the pandemic. We got to take more in because nobody's buying this junk. Nobody's buying this stuff. All these battle decks, all these battle academies, all these collection boxes, nobody wants them. So we got to start taking more accounts. So they started signing up a ton of accounts. So there's a lot of accounts that are out there there. So there's still a decent amount probably that is going as far as the reprint goes, but not enough to send all of our customers a case. Means that this is barely going to touch the market. So it's great because we're seeing booster boxes again, and I think that's a stepping stone into the right direction. And I think it's important to remember that, because that means that we will probably get larger reprints down the road. I don't think this is the last we'll see of Twilight Masquerade or Surging Sparks, and I do think it'll probably be a fairly large Journey Together reprint. But as of right now, these 4 products, so the Paldean Fates booster bundles, the Surging Sparks booster boxes, the Twilight Masquerade booster boxes, and the Palea Evolved booster boxes, at least from the distributors that I talk to, and I only talk to a few of them because I don't have access to every distributor. There's a lot of distributors. It looks like there's not even enough to send one case to everything. So because of that, you're not going to see this fall. You're not going to see this drop down to MSRP or anywhere near that. We talked about this a couple days ago. Will we see, is this going to be big enough to touch the market? And honestly, it's not. If it's only not even enough to send a full case to everybody, this is not even going to get touched. In fact, like, it is possible this could work backwards because there is going to be attention played to it now. And that's why it's so important to make sure you get your information correct and to understand the information correctly. Now there's all this attention being given to these 3 sets. So people are going to be looking at it, okay, oh, I want to see what is this going to drop to? What is it? Well, it's not dropping. It's not dropping. And then that FOMO strikes, and people are like, well, I thought this was going to drop. I thought we were getting a reprint. Well, Palea Evolves at 223. Now it's 230. Now it's 235. I better buy it before it gets any higher. Then all of a sudden it's 245, 250, and it has this reverse effect because there's not enough reprinted. So that's why it's almost better just just pretend the reprint's not even happening, because if it's not even enough to give one case to everybody, like, it's barely going to touch the market. But at the same time, stores need to have some sort of product available. That's kind of the other point of why somebody asked me, why are we selling Heatwave Arena at 130? Like, why even take it in? Why even do it? Well, number one, like I said before, is because you have to, we're getting it offered as a case versus just loose boxes, which we don't get very often. And number two, there are people who are still, like, I would say a strong percentage of Pokemon card collectors are not willing to pay the price, the market price, when it's an exuberant amount. But some are, and some are fine with that. Some don't really care. Some are just like, no, I just want it for my collection. I'm fine. I just want to get it out of the way, check it off the box, and move on. And if you are a store who's never carrying the product, they stop coming. They stop coming to your store because you don't have it available. And right now, product is so difficult to come by as a store owner that you have to have something up there. So we'll continue. I would assume, since this is a reprint, that most companies, most storefronts should sell these products at MSRP. We will. We will sell these. We'll put whatever we get of Twilight Masquerade, assuming we get a case, we'll put it up at MSRP. It'll only, like, 6 people will be happy. You know, it really just depends on what we get allocated, but it looks like it's just a very, very small amount. That means that's barely going to touch the market. The best thing I can recommend is make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I hope you enjoy the content. Obviously, make the best decision when it comes to spending your collection dollars, and be careful with the noise that you hear out there, because it is difficult to understand everything that's going on, but it's important to have all the relevant information so that way you can make the best decision. I know it comes across like I am very, very genuine. I do want you guys to be in the hobby for the long haul, and I think that as frustrating as it is right now, it's going to get better, but it gets more frustrating when you spend more money than you need to spend, and it will get better, and there will be more printed, and we just got to keep being patient and enjoy the hobby and enjoy the good in the hobby, and not focus on the negative. So I want to put that information out there so you have it. I appreciate you guys taking the time. Thank you so much for everything. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Love you guys. Until tomorrow, peace.